Telling you stories from the interview with my Mechutn Shalom Spalter, Rosh Yeshiva in Morristown. Just a glimpse. There's a kid growing up in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. Just good to know, beautiful to know these things. So my father would bring me to Pirshmelech Spalter, after whom our eldest grandchild is named, right? Elimeli. You don't remember, it's after your day. Trying to find a picture online, I couldn't find it. I'll bring you a picture of from at home. It's nice to see what we're talking about. So Sholem says, my father bring me to the Rebbe's Farbrengen edition. And then when they were Masad the Beis Medrash 770 for the Farbrengen, so they moved the bima close to the front of the shul, the Arna Kodesh, and that's where all the kids used to stand by the Farbrengen. Other times they used to my father used to bring me to 770. I remember he says, Simchas Torah, my father would bring me, and he put me to sleep in a bed in the David Raskin's office, and go down to the Farbrengen before our office, and I would sleep, and then they would wake me up and bring me to our office. This is a Chassidic chinuch. He was in Yechidus as a child, he says several times, I don't remember anything, except for I remember that I once got a silver dollar. He says, maybe he's a little child here, which my mother kept for me, and when I grew older, she gave it to me. But the Yechidus he first remembers very well, and this I want to share with you, is the Yechidus of his BARMITZVAH, 1966. Now, for my father, after this is 1966, this is after understand then. My father never dreamed, he says, that he would survive of the Holocaust, and that he would marry and have children. It's a big it's his first child. It's a big simcha. It's a big simcha. And it was very emotional for my father to have this milestone in his life. He didn't dream he would survive the war. And here, a family and a child. So he wanted to make this, this was the attitude then, and well understand and appreciate in the country. He wanted to make this a big event, like a big suda, big thank you to the Eibishter. And he planned to make, like relatively speaking, of not just a kiddush. It used to be, my mitzvahs used to be, friends. By Chassidim, after davening, so lekach and l'chaim, finished. This was the bar mitzvah. That's how it was in the past. Fancy was a piece of herring. But here is it. So my father wrote into the Rebbe. He wrote in everything. It's a beautiful story coming. Chassidim write in everything. This is his plans. Get hall, music, whatever. He didn't go into detail, but The Rebbe answers, "HaTorah chos al mamonim shel Yisrael," quoting Chazal, the Torah has pity on the money of a Jew. Many halachas that we're careful even for the smallest amount. Nothing is negligible. V'yachlifu barchava beruchnis. Replace your expansive Gashmi's dike celebration for expansiveness in Ruchnius, broad in Ruchnius. Invest in Ruchnius, not in the Gashmi's. So this he got by a handwritten note. So the secretary called my father and gave the answer. My father said, I want to see it myself. So I remember that we went to get the 770 and we saw Ksaviyat Kosher of the Rebbe's answer. So my father turns to me and says, Shalom Spalter, Rabbi Spalter, the Rosh Yeshiva, you know Rabbi Spalter in Morristown. Huh? David, you know. So Shalom, the father says, what do you think Rebbe means? I said, I don't know. What does it mean to make it Baruch more expansive? So my father says to me, I think Rebbe wants that instead of saying one maim, you should say two maimot. Obviously, he's scrapping the whole fancy quote unquote celebration to my maimot. So he says, in those days, for the kid, one mimer was a big yoke. Two, but in those days, it wasn't such a thing. A kid to say to a father, no. So, in addition to the mimer, everybody chazed, I also chazed a mimer, it says a short mimer of the Frierdiker Rebbe, Matov Alecha Yaakov, this week's parsha, which has 2 paragraphs. So now, when he went into Yechidus before my bar mitzvah, my father tells the Rebbe that in accordance with the Rebbe's instruction, that my son is preparing an extra mimer. Already learned extra mimer. So Rabbi Shalom Spalter says, I remember till today the broad smile that Rebbe's face lit up when he heard this. And then Rebbe gave brachas and brachas, and the smile of the simcha to hear this, that I learned to my morim, I could never forget. Now that's part 1 of the story. Part 2 of the story, we'll soon see, with one of his brothers. You'll see what happened there. And Mamash, you'll see a Ruach HaKodesh. It's more than Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah, you'll see the story. It speaks for itself. Okay, friends, let's dive in.